I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I wanted to put this up this morning. I always have trouble with my phone. One day, maybe. And, anyway, uh, I've been putting up here about my kidnapping. I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a dead twin. She was murdered, both of them, by their mother, who was unwed and a psychopath. Now, I've been writing about mind control murders like the Tesla files, and it's anywhere you can go back and check what I'm talking about. In a lot of it, I've got pictures and backup, but you can tell from what I'm saying from my videos. The reason I'm putting this up this morning, this has been ongoing, and I tend to hate to keep mentioning Larry Flint, but he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia when I was doing the book. He was shot there, and it's about 45 miles maybe from where I was living doing the book at Moonraker Apartments in Marietta, Georgia. He was shot by a program shooter, but the thing is, I would work for doctors, and I found out that you can put chips, dentists or doctors. I mean, this is common knowledge, and people do not get out and rally and force the government to tell them about mind control. Rather, they don't mind the media and this government going after WikiLeaks. A man, Julian Assange, who's paid a heavy, heavy price for telling the truth. And I hope and pray that there's a place in heaven for this man. It is not right what's been done to him. And I pray every day that this is over. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think this will hurt him any more than he's been hurt. I corresponded by email, but with his mom and with him, to him. And it was on Twitter, and I've got to get my phone fixed because I really do all of it before I can't get Twitter right at the moment. I can't find my password. I got 2 Twitter accounts. But anyway, it's really horrible what they're doing to a man who has stuck. He's really a brave person and told the truth. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I did get an email from him I'm not even going to go in. He sent it. It was a message, call it email, what you want to. It was him. And it was a bit about honesty, about, in essence, referring, because I had said something on Facebook about it too. This hadn't been too long ago. He emailed me back or posted back to me. And it is so sad that they make up so many lies about people. This man's done nothing. He's from Australia. He's a Brit. And, you're going to condemn this man for trying to protect the real monarch, and I'm sure he has, and tell the truth of this garbage that's being thrown out and the lies in the media. And the media's the ones that need handcuffed. You're talking about arresting somebody. Arrest the whole friggin' bunch of them. I got a better word for them, but I'm not allowed to say it because that would make me not nice. Well, there's no words bad enough for them. This has been going on. You've never heard them tell about me. If they told about me, they would make up lies and everything if they did. Of course, it'd be a little hard to do because in all of the lies, you'd see the truth. Now, what I was going to put up was that, but I wanted to say this about mind control murders, too. Back, 89 is when it happened, I believe. I went back to Google, and because there's a murder that just happened in Gonzalez, Louisiana. By the way, that's where Gonzalez lives. And I've put up here about him and a little bit. And his part in all this, from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a doctor. Still alive, I think. His son's even a doctor. So his son got to go to college, and they've continued to live a good life. Uh, but anyway, this is Gonzalez is one that was with Henry Kissinger on the other end of the Watergate tapes that I put up and told you about. He drugged me and with Rehypnol or whatever you call it, and it I know that has to be it because I knew what they were doing, but I couldn't walk or move. I was drugged in there. To a clinic over in College Park at the trolley tracks. People can look back. There was a clinic there. It may still be there. I don't know. In College Park across Atlanta from where he was at Northside Hospital Medical Building. Medical Building? Okay, so Gonzalez was the one that did that and took me there, and there were, I kept thinking I saw doctors dressed in their scrubs. I could see them out of the corner of my eye. If I'm not mistaken, I could move my face a little bit. We got somebody on chains here. I'd hate to make on a leash. I'll try not to make anything out of this. Hopefully he's not. But anyway, I'm trying to laugh here through it all. But to make a long story short, I kept thinking it was terror because I heard the phone call behind these scrubs, about 6 of them, that was in, it was real, the hallway between was real small. Anyway, there's a doctor behind me. He's got a mask on. I believe he had the facial pulled off, but he had the cap on, I believe, the hat. Scrub hat, so did the others. They had the whole gear on standing there waiting to do it. I kept thinking, because I'm listening to them and I'm getting the drift of what they're going to do to me. And I keep thinking, if I could just tell them. And I'm looking back now, they weren't there to help me. They were there to do it to me. Henry Kissinger of the Nixon administration, the global government, your Illuminati, was the one on the other end at the 18.5-minute gap in the Watergate. They subpoenaed the tape. And they talked about that, or they showed some stuff when I worked for the district attorney, 1980, after they'd almost killed me again. And I mean, that one, the thing on the 18.5-minute gap is where Henry Kissinger is laying down that if the Brits don't follow through and cross their palms with whatever treaties or turn over this or that or money or whatever, they're going to lobotomize me. And I waited, and Gonzalez stood over me, his face looking down at me, and they got the call. There was a phone right behind me where that doctor was. These are doctors, and this is a clinic in College Park. This is what goes on that you don't hear about. And Gonzalez, I heard them talking. So the Brits had crossed their palms, and I lived to die another day. And I almost did again over and over, but in April Fool Day of 80, and I'd written the book. Now I want to get back to this because you get the gist. You can, if I can put all this up, you can filter. Some people can filter through here enough to get the gist if they don't know. This one is in Gonzales, Louisiana. It was just a couple of days ago, and I don't know the young man's name. I'm not sure that matters in here, but these are done in patterns. And the fact there was something else a week or so ago that's similar to this, I didn't say anything about it. I really didn't pick up on it. I would think it's of the same thing because any person, if they stop to think about it, why is all this happening? These rash of planes going down and the school shootings in Bernardino, California. By the way, there was a young man that was from another country, I've forgotten where, that he lived downtown Atlanta. He just moved in down there, and he had did something with 2 bombs or something. I guess he's in prison. But it's what I have been telling people about the precision in what they're calling he's thought it out. So deliberate and so cunning and everything, all these people. No, it's programmed into them. And that's why it's thought out and goes through so good. They're programmed to precision, and they don't even know it. It's mind control. Now then, the Gonzales, Louisiana. I wanted to bring that up about Lyle and Eric Menendez because that was in '89, and they are still in prison for life for killing their parents. And I believe this totally. Somebody else picking this up would say, "Oh well, they can say that now." These two young men have paid for a price they didn't do. What if it was your sons or your daughters or you? One of them, I don't know if it's Lyle, I suppose, both of them, said that he loved his mother very much. And he cried a lot about what happened. And I believe him totally. They haven't even been told what really happened to them. I don't think they have. And I got in touch with one of the men that wrote a book about them and interviewed them, and he came back at me, and he didn't care. I sent him, and he knew about me, and I emailed the stuff a few years back. He's living a good life high up in the mountains up there in either Washington or North California. I can't remember, but he wasn't going to retract anything. He didn't care. He wrote the book. He didn't care. Okay, now then, this young man down here in Gonzales, Louisiana, killed his parents, and he killed his parents' girlfriend and two others. And I think they have located the vehicle he was in, but this one is a program person, and they're calling him a killer, and what kind of person would kill their parents? That's the kind of person, and so would you. You can sit back and say you wouldn't do this, you wouldn't do that. Yeah, you would. If you're programmed, you certainly would. You would be no better than a robot because it's exactly, you're a puppet. And you don't even know they're programming you. And the precision is so great now. And I was telling about this in '76. I mean, they could probably, if they wanted to, with all the satellites, and here's where they'll come in, and they love to, and even people are allowing it to be done, blaming the mental health field for people who have been programmed. So now then you mention, even though it's on YouTube, other than me, I don't read the videos about mind control on there. But I don't know if they're mentioning this or not. They mention mind control. So where are all your doctors and your dentists and all these people they interview about the Las Vegas shooter? What is it? It's the horse, where you keep horses. What's his name? Well, I can't even think now, but that was programmed to shoot all those people out there. A year and a half ago or so. I'm going to stop here. There's no need for me to go on with this. I don't know, if you never tell about it, how can it be stopped? I'm telling about it, and people actually hate me. And they've deliberately got into things like, I couldn't go out now. I had, as far as how can I pay my rent if I don't have money? My money was stole from me when I was kidnapped, everything. The things done to me, nobody can ever repay. My children, what happened to them, because they're heirs after me, is so sick and vile. And I've got a policy. I can't touch. Somebody's probably already used it, and they tell me they got it and it's illegal and they knew it. They should be in prison, but that's not the way it goes. I can't even get any attorney, legal aid, or anybody to touch it. They'll say, well, it has to go into probate, and they'll just start, and legal aid just says nothing. But I did get in touch with them, and they gave me some aid. Nobody else could talk to me, and well, I'd have to go into probate. I can't go anywhere. I tried to call all these places. Nobody will touch it. So I've been kept penniless, and yet people, I get bills from, like, doctors I can't pay. I couldn't pay the rent. My jobs were shut down. I'd go up on the Appalachian Trail. It's like people hate me because they want to go, they don't hear it. It happened to me. God help them if it happens to their family. And then they wake up and wish because it has. So now then, this deal out at Scott Hill. I don't know what's going on about that. This was the third time I'd been out there. And they called me this last time a year, what, 2-3 years later, on the very day I was called again, and said they had an apartment for me. And in fact, she almost begged me to come. Well, she did, to come back. She kept calling me. And this was a different woman, and she was from out here. I better stop, because when I put it up here, it's the truth, so help me God, I couldn't make it up. But then they get mad at me, the people. So anyway, as it stands, because of this last stint, unless it went into court, and I'm not sure then, I can just see me getting up to tell this. If you didn't have an attorney that wasn't bought off and wasn't scared to death, they wouldn't represent me. So I don't know what they've done. They could tie me up, and as of it goes now, this is HUD, and this is a government, but they're part of this whole friggin' mess. They should never have let it happen. So now then, as it stands, I can't even get HUD. Well, I couldn't before. The few I got, they did the same thing. I have an autoimmune disorder, and they deliberately, you're not supposed to say deliberately, you're not supposed to say you're the Queen of England that was kidnapped or people know the truth. Very few are like some of you on Facebook that come on here and say, hey, I know you're telling the truth. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Well, you know, this has been fixed so that I don't have a home, period. I hope my children are alive and well. I pray every day I'd get to see them again. I'm old. I'm really old. And my children have aged, and I have not seen them but a couple of times way back then, when April Fool Day of 80, I was almost killed. They never knew the truth. They absolutely, unless they've seen it on YouTube, and then they know it's the truth, or Facebook. So anyway, I thought I would tell about the Gonzalez. The young man is going to be charged with, just like the man it's like Scott Peterson, only he didn't kill that many people. Neither of these killed anybody. They were programmed. This person that programmed them. What was the other one up in, was it Colorado? It just happened, his last name, where he stuffed his kids in the oil tank and killed his pregnant wife. I've forgotten his name. That was a programming. I can bet your boots it was, okay?